let the fire begin. We got like a month and a half away from NAPS 2024 in Arizona. So get ready. We are getting ignited and sparked up for it. I got my good friend here, Scott Luttrell from SourceWhale in the house today. What's up, Scott?
What's up, Richard? Happy to be here.
Hey, brother. First off, I got to thank you and SourceWhale to sponsoring the NAPS conference, man. As a silver sponsor, man. Good job, guys, man. Thank you for the support, brother.
Yeah, we're excited. We're excited.
And it's actually at the Wigwam. I don't know if you know, seen that location, but it's like an oasis, man. A pool and little villas. It's a pretty cool setting for a conference.
Yeah, it looks pretty beautiful. Unfortunately, I won't be there. Some people on my team are going to be there, and so I'm extremely jealous.
Well,
jealous.
I'm sure they'll take snapshots and stuff and pictures. We'll hashtag you on everything we have there. You know.
Okay, thanks.
Just rub it in a little bit. Hey, Scott, tell everybody real quick. I always say the 2-minute tour of who you are, man, and then we'll deep dive into everything else.
Yeah, so here at SourceWhale, we just partner with staffing and recruiting agencies. That's our bread and butter. That's all we work with. And it's really simple. We help them book more meetings, whether it's on the business development side, which is pretty much most of the conversations we're having nowadays, but also on the candidate side as well. And we have an automation tool. And I think when most people think about automation, they think about, I'm going to blast 100 emails. I'm going to get no response. It's just spam that lands in people's inbox. But this is a little bit different in that we can create different channels in your outreach. So not just email. Email is definitely one of the channels, but also LinkedIn connection requests, LinkedIn in-mails, obviously phone calls, text messages. So let's say someone doesn't respond to an email, you could set it up so that a LinkedIn message goes out after that. If you don't get a response to that, it cues you to make a phone call. And if that doesn't get an answer, a text message immediately goes after that, so that you're hitting prospects and candidates in a variety of different ways to ensure that your outreach stands out and ultimately you're booking as many meetings as you possibly can.
I love what you said there because, we talked about offline about football. It's like the blitz, prevent, you go back and forth because there's different angles. And we all know now, Scott, that everything's about biz development right now. A lot of staffing firms, they got the candidates, but they need to get clients. So This is a great avenue to do this. I want to talk a little bit about the data syncing and all that stuff. Can you just give us a little bit of what goes on behind the scenes with this? So how robust it is?
Yeah, we have a ridiculously good tech team. There's a lot more that it does than outreach, right? We're going to help you find contact information for the key people that you need to reach out to. Because, if you have a great campaign, but you have nowhere to send it, that's going to be a little bit tough. So we're going to be able to provide you cell phones, emails as well. And then obviously, with everyone's talking about AI, we have an AI component of our tool where you can actually build campaigns, right? Because that's a big barrier to entry for people. And I got to think through how I'm going to approach these people. So we have SourceWhale AI, where you would basically set up your steps. So let's say you're reaching out to someone and you say, hey, I want this to run out over the next 3 weeks or month. I want it to be 8 steps, 3 emails, a connection request, a LinkedIn message, a couple of phone calls, and maybe a text message at the end. Well, from there, you can upload certain things. So if it's a business development campaign, let's say you're speccing a candidate or, doing an MPC campaign, you could upload, class, the qualifications for that person, certain highlights of that person, you upload it and it will actually just create the entire campaign for you, highlighting different things about that person as you go. If it's something that's more value driven, you could do that. And then on the candidate side, if you have a job rec, you just upload it and say, hey, this is the job, highlight some of the key features, and then it will just create the campaign for you. And it's AI, so it doesn't get you 100% there, but to get you 85% of the way there so that you just change a few things to make it perfect is a huge step forward for our clients.
And I love what it is. Whale GPT, being a shark in the whale. I just love that name. When you see it on the website, I was like, dude, that is great marketing right there. Who doesn't want to hang out with the whale, right?
Yeah.
When you think of whale, you think SeaWorld, Shamu, right? It's this is the Shamu of the integration here. But and you really, coming down to it, you're integrated with a lot of different partners, over 100, I think, right? Or more?
Yeah. Our goal is to just work where our clients work. We don't want to just be another tool that they have to come into. So it's really important that they, continue to do what they do. And so if you think about who we work with, some of the simple ones like data providers, right? If you're on top of a data provider, like a Zoom Info or an Apollo or whatever, and you want to see a contact that you want to reach out to, right? You could start a campaign there. But then we also integrate with, 50 plus ATSs and CRMs, right? So that you can look at, maybe clients that you haven't engaged with in your CRM and say, man, I haven't engaged with these people in a while, put together a campaign and then just have that working in the background for you. And then all of the activity, everything that's happening in these campaigns is automatically logged back into your CRM or ATS as well.
Man, that is sweet. That is sweet as can be. So, okay, so I got to talk about sales real quick because you know what? Everybody loves sales. You are the VP of sales and the guru for SourceWhale. So I got to just tell people out there, if you can give some tips about this, Scott. This is on the spot here about, you're doing great. So a lot of people out there are negative and saying there's no companies out there that will be hiring. I can't get in the door. What are some of your techniques? Can you give a couple little secret sauces here of how you're getting clients?
Yeah, I mean, I think the first thing is I think you got to zig when everyone's doing something one way. So if everyone's sending emails and crowding the buyer's inbox, it's really important that you get creative with your outreach, right? Like voice notes on LinkedIn connection, LinkedIn messages in conjunction with email, hitting people up in a variety of different ways to say, hey, I'm a real human. And I just think the biggest way that you can stand out in today's market, and we see it in the data because again, we're working with close to 10,000 staffing, 10,000 recruiters. The people that are booking the most meetings out there, they're making calls, right? And so at the end of the day, all of these things that you do, all of the written messages, it shouldn't be all you're doing. You got to make calls if you want to actually go out and book meetings. That's the number one way to do it.
There it is, man. You know what? And real quick, I got to tell you this. Everybody says AI. AI is like a protein supplement. That's what I say. It's like a protein shake. It's not your core. You still got to hit the weights and go to the grunt. That's the phone call, the grunt.
Yeah, you got to do it. And everything else is important, but it's more so supporting you for the call, right? It's building up to that call and giving you like a point of view for when you call, you can leverage what you've been emailing them or messaging them about.
I mean, that's good stuff there. And you know what? And I mean, a lot of people are panicking and stuff like that. I mean, this is probably one of your better years in recent time. And I always say this, when people panic, that's when we place and we put people to work, and also find clients. I got to ask you a little tidbit on the sales side. So what is your recommendations? I mean, you say try everything. I know a lot of people I talk to on the podcast and stuff like that, they just send email blast out and they just wait. You shouldn't wait. You should be proactive. I mean, what's your take on all this stuff about, we talked about phone calls, but is there networking, other ways to get in the door?
I think any way that you can get in the door. I do think that one of the things that's really important is that you have a set structure that you stick to, right? So when you approach someone, it's not just reaching out 2 or 3 times. Our data suggests that you need to reach out to someone 8 times, because right now, we're tracking meetings within our tool, and 75% of the meetings that are happening on the biz dev side are happening on step 3 and after. And I talk to so many people that are yeah, I'll try them a few times, and if they don't get back to me after 3 or 4, I'm giving up. And that's right where the responses are happening.
Yeah.
So I think it's really important that you have a set process that includes multiple steps. And then when you set your sights on someone, you don't just go on feel. You have a real process for this is what I'm going to do from start to finish to ensure that I'm getting my best chance of a meeting. I think that's just the most important thing is just don't give up. And then, I mean, there's other things too, the messaging's got to be good, and it's got to be focused on challenges and issues, right? Are there open jobs on their website? Do you have an awesome candidate for them? Did someone leave their company that you can leverage? Did someone just join, or they might have budget and might be making the changes? You got to have a reason to reach out rather than hey, here's what we do. Hey, here's what we do. Hey, here's what we do, because that's all they're seeing in their inbox. That's all they're seeing in their messages. So it's just you got to show them how you can help them.
Exactly. You said that. And LinkedIn, we got to talk about it real quick. I get spammed every day. You probably do too about, I don't even know who you are. They're like, hey, Shark, can I help you with your marketing media? I'm like, do you know what I do for a living? It's it's so generic, and you just hit on the head there. That's stuff where you don't even know the person. You send this thing hey, let's have a meeting. I can help you out. It's got to go farther than that.
It's just you have to earn a meeting. You have to earn a meeting. And it's you can't just talk about you. Hey, I've been in business for 25 years. Do you want a meeting? It's just
who gives shits about that? I don't care if you've been in business 20 years. What can you do for me now?
Here's why I'm better. Do you want a meeting? Here's my process. Do you want a meeting? It's just you got to have like a real strong point of view on why you think you can help them, and it has to be all about them. Like, hey, I noticed this about this open role on your website. Like, it's been there for quite some time, right? Like something that's just like catches them, that's value driven about them and how you can help them. And I see it all the time. Like all the messages I read, they're all about like I, me, we,
Yes.
right? And it's like it really should be a lot more about like you. Hey, I saw this about you, right? Because that's what's gonna like catch their attention. And even like bad emails about them are gonna catch more attention that like you're trying, right? Like you're gonna get more answers. You might get some no's, but like it's better to get a no than having someone completely ignore you, which I think most people are doing.
Exactly. But, well, you know how it is. It's spam city. They get the list off of Zoom Info or Apollo, and they just grab that list and they just blast 2,000 emails out a day and hope somebody responds back. And then when they don't get nobody response back, they're upset, they're sad, and who knows what happens after that. Usually probably fired after 6 months because they didn't do it
Yeah.
the right way. But I love that. And you know what, tying it in, SourceWhale can keep this all organized. Am I right? Like this is one of them where you can get all this down where just sending. I see a lot of people still using Excel spreadsheets and just sending blasts out that way. They can't organize anything, Scott, at all.
Yeah, I mean, like it's hard to manage tasks, and it's also hard to look at someone and say, like, man, this is my seventh time reaching out to this person. Like you just sort of give up sometimes, right? Like it's hard
Yeah.
to stay diligent. So yeah, like the way I think about SourceWhale is we're going to automate everything that should be automated, all the written messages, so that you could truly do what's working, and that's call behind. So like with us, like all you really have to do is make the calls, and we obviously organize that for you. But like as you're making the calls, everything else is working in the background. Like if you don't get an answer to that call, like a LinkedIn message goes out. If that doesn't get a reply, an email goes out. And then, oh, by the way, like it cues you to make another phone call in the process to make sure that other email goes out. So like really all you have to do is make the phone calls with our tool, which is again what we're seeing is working to ensure that everything is just working around it and supporting your efforts.
I love that. And I come up with this slogan. I think SourceWhale covers your back. They got your back, seriously, because after you try one thing, there's another avenue. Am I right?
Yeah.
There's the new
Yeah.
slogan. We got your back, seriously. That's great stuff. I love about that. Now I got to jump into the conference real quick here. You guys are a sponsor. NAPS is a smaller conference, and you're going to have a couple people there. I believe some of your team going to be there for this. And it's only 200, 300 people. Have you been to ever a conference where it's smaller and you get to know people? Because this is what this conference is about. It's more like at the end, after 3 days, you're going to know everybody's name and you're going to be connected with on LinkedIn. And more than that, 3,000 people where you're just in a crowd and you're just pushing people through.
I love small conferences. Yeah.
Me too.
I've definitely been to small and big ones. I would much prefer a small one where you can get to know people, build relationships. And I feel like you just, it's like different when you go out to get a drink or get some food. Like it's just a lot more camaraderie and people that know each other rather than everyone's going their separate ways, right? I just definitely prefer that.
Oh, 100%. You go to big ones, what happens in the end? You got a million people want you to go dinner this way. You're like everywhere. By the end, you're exhausted. At least when you go to something like this, you learn. I think you learn more too, because the speakers, you're in a smaller room with maybe 30 people and they speak to the audience.
Yep. Yeah, for sure. For sure.
That's awesome. So what else is going on with SourceWhale? Any updates, any little snips or anything you can give us, like previews coming up, fourth quarter, anything?
There's always stuff coming, right? Like that's the beautiful
Can
thing.
I get something out of you? Is there a little sneak peek here?
I mean, I'll give you. I mean, we like that is one thing that I love about working here is our tech team is amazing, and so like every Friday we'll have a meeting where they'll roll out some sort of like a new feature or functionality, and it's just so consistent, right? Like so, like anyone that buys SourceWhale now, like they're literally buying it at the worst it's going to be because it just gets like a product update every single week. They're adding something. One of the things that we added this week was just a feature called data refresh, right? So if you have contacts in your system, right, we're going to be able to like update certain information like email address, phone number, job title changes, company changes. As information is changing, we can alert you to that to ensure that your database is up to date. And that's not within SourceWhale. That's within what you use. Do you use Top Echelon or do you use Crelate or Bullhorn? Whatever you're using is where we're going to update that information.
I love that. So every week there's something fresh going on, which is nice, because a lot of companies, I'm going to tell you straight up, bro, I deal with a lot of them. They're stagnant. They do one upgrade a year, something like that. It's nice to keep things refreshed and all that good stuff.
Yeah, Harry, our co-founder, is an absolute animal. Like like him and his team just absolutely are amazing at updating the product consistently.
Well, Harry, you got to tell Harry, if you reach out to him and you talk to him, tell him he got to come on with the shark. We all three have to come on. Is that a deal?
Sure, I'll let him know.
If you can get him, I know he's busy and stuff like that, but you tell him the shark and the whale, we need to get everybody on the team on the show.
All right, we'll do it.
That'd be a blast. Well, hey, Scott, thank you so much. I just want to get a little tidbit about, the conference going on. I want to thank you guys for sponsoring. Is there any final takeaways you want to get? Because I know I'm going to bring you back. Just let you know, guys, this ain't the last time you're going to see Scott. He's going to come back and we're going to do a deep dive in the SourceWhale, what makes it robust and what makes it a winning game changer for you guys. But right now, this is just more about the conference preview. Any final thoughts, man, you want to throw out there?
I mean, no, I hope everyone enjoys the conference. I hope it's fruitful for everyone, and definitely come say hi. Unfortunately, I will not be there. It's my mother-in-law's 80th birthday, so I can't go.
Well, let's give. Hey, you know what? That's a reason why. If there's something else, but you don't want to get in the doghouse with anybody else for that. You gotta be there.
But I've got two guys on my team, Jimmy and Trent. Go say hi to them. They're great guys, really easy to talk to, super knowledgeable. And so they're gonna represent SourceWhale well. So if you have any needs or you have anything you want to talk about, definitely stop by and say hello.
That's what it's all about. NAPS. I mean, I can't wait. If I can pull a picture up here, check it out. This is it, man. Look at that location, man. Pool, everything. It's gonna be a blast.
No, don't talk about it with me.
Desert. I will send you a picture with your team with a cheers in the air. We'll have a cocktail and we'll be like, we're having some shark time right here, buddy. So, but no, you know what? Family's first, man. Tell your it's your grandmother, right?
My mother-in-law.
Mother-in-law. We'll tell her the shark said happy birthday. All right.
All right. I'll let her know.
You're like, who's the shark? But you know what? That's what I'm about, man. Always having fun. But hey, Scott, thank you so much, brother. Like I said, we'll connect again and we'll get you on another show. Hey, if you guys get a chance, make sure you go to NAPS. Register below. I'm going to tell you what, I'll be there. The excitement's going to be there. SourceWhale is going to be there. We're going to have so much fun in the desert the last week of October. Take care, guys, and we'll see you at NAPS. See ya.